Hey guys, Lancer here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks again for joining me. We'll look into some more MTG markets and, of course, the markets overall and some spoilers at the end. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. Let's get to it. So, I'm going to start off with ADA. So, this is Cardano, and this is not really stocks, this is crypto. But I'm just going to say that Cardano had a great day today, and I'm looking at the 1 hour chart. It does look like it's overbought. It might pull back a bit until the overbought goes away, maybe hit the 20, come back down to test the $3 mark. But on the daily, it also looks overbought, but that doesn't always have to mean anything. You can see that at the past, it was overbought for ages, and in this case, it was overbought. Had a huge spike up, so this could still cause a rally, because it's important to remember that the market works in two different ways. One way is when people think that something is overbought, they might start shorting it. And the problem is when you start shorting it, if someone buys it on the other end and pushes the prices up, then you're losing money, or at least you're in the red. And the best way to make it up is you buy back in, expect the price to top off, then you sell at the possible top, and then catch the knife on the way back down to your price target and below. So you don't lose money on both trades. It's like buying and selling at the same time. If the market goes up, then you ride it until you feel like it hits the top, and then you get back down to a medium or lower level, and then you sell back out again. So for Cardano, there's a chance that it could spike up, but it is hitting a very strong peak, mainly because at the same time Bitcoin is hitting its 50,000 level, and it's taking a bit of a breather right now. It also looks like it's overbought on the daily. And you can see that this is a bit more accurate. Obviously, there's still times where it didn't work, but it did predict the best times to get into the market when the RSI is really low. And the overbought is obviously when it hits the 80 on the RSI. So looking at the dollar, overbought as well. So there's a very high chance the dollar can pull back significantly, causing markets to rise up more. You can see there was no real good time to buy the S&P 500, except for back in 16th of March. We all know that. So, if you bought back in, then good for you, because this is actually a good ride to keep going on by the looks of it. We had some pullbacks, but right now it doesn't look like it's surprisingly overbought or anything. It just looks like it's riding steady. Gold looks like it's above its 200. No real momentum going on here. Looks like it's stabilizing. Maybe it's looking for some more direction from the Federal Reserve to see what's going to happen with the US dollar. Let's get straight to the market. So jumping straight into dual lands, they've been very stable for the last couple of days. You can see that Bayou is moving up slowly. Plateau is, plateauing. Savannah, not much, very slow movement up. Scrublands, flat as well. It's actually less than what it used to be. So it has hit what feels like a peak. Moving into the MTG markets for the day, what actually has moved? You've got huge moves for Vorinclex and Jingataxis, each of them moving about 30%. I don't know if this is a surprise or not. These cards were good to begin with. These cards were already $20 to begin with. And then you give them the foil version, okay? Depends on how prinkly they are. But then you add in the Phyrexian text. Yeah. They are probably going to be pushing the prices. I would not be surprised if Wizard of the Coast uses this as a way to promote the list cards that have these Phyrexian creatures in them, or possibly a way to introduce them in some commander cards, because they will help push the product. Seat of Synoid still moving up, very strong for the average price. The average price and market price is always a weird one. The average price always seems to be a bit more spiky. Obviously, people might be buying premium versions of this card, pushing up the price overall, buying in bulk. The market price takes a lot longer to adjust, so something to keep an eye on for. The $1.44 from TCG is probably not accurate anymore. Mana Shot from Classic 6th edition. So not on the reserve list or anything special. You can find another copy from 4th edition for $1.53. Even this one sitting at $1.93. It's a 30% or 20% increase on the average price, but nothing crazy. It's just incrementally going up. It's kind of a cool card, but it really does depend on what you're going to use it for. But it's kind of a cool card. It's like an interrupt, or I guess you could even use it as a counter spell. Actually, now I think about it, There's a 3 mana, but yeah, I guess there are cheaper counterspells, but it's pretty much another counterspell. Wear and Tear from Commander Legends, really cool card. Very powerful, $1.16 on TCG Player, but most likely moving up to $2, $3 mark. It did come out in Dragon's Maze, but all of these are actually quite expensive. Like I said before, it's a very, very useful card in Boros. Mother of Runes from Secret Lairs. So the price of all of these Mother of Runes did drop quite a bit because they came out as a 4-pack for one Secret Lairs. But I feel like there's no way that they can average less than $6.49 because that's just the average price of all of these Mother of Runes. So I'd expect them all to move up pretty much guaranteed. It just depends on how long, but unless they get printed again, all the Mother of Runes should average around about $8 to $9. Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger. We talked about Jin-Gitaxias. Vorinclex is the same. These cards are insanely good value, as much as no one likes to buy these. These are way better than those stupid Walking Dead Secret Lairs in some ways, except if you're a possible judge. I think the judges sometimes get handed these kinds of cards that have cool like flavor text on them. So if you're a judge, then you might be less incentive to be a judge because I think that's like the best value you can get. Darksteel Ingot from Secret Lair series. So this is one. It dropped to the average market price dropped to 86 cents for this card, starting at $10. I will say it's going to take a lot of effort for this. I think it's the Rocks or something like something Rocks. Secret Lairs. I think it's going to take a lot of effort for this to come up to something that can even come close to breaking even. Fire and Ice from Apocalypse. We talked about this card in the past. It's been on the list a few times. Moving up very aggressively today, sitting at $1.58 on TCG. You can get a Commander version for 49 cents, but I doubt that's going to last either. When an average price like this moves up, then others are going to pick up as well. People are going to buy like the best value of them. I'm not too sure why there's a buyout, but you can let me... Actually, wait a second. It might be because, yes, that's right. It's being played in Modern, Pauper, and Legacy, but mostly Modern. There looks like a lot of stuff coming out of Modern that plays this card. Weird Harvest from Onslaught. Only other edition of this is 9th edition for $3.08. This one is worth $3.46. Is it a good card? Let's have a look. Each player may search his or her library for up to 6 creature cards. Reveal those creatures, put them into his or her hand, then each player who searches his or her library this way shuffles it. Yes, it's actually a really cool card. It's only what I mean is it's a cool card to make a commander game fun. Whether or not it actually makes it fun depends on what cards people put in their commander decks, but it's kind of cool. Now we have a reserve list card. I remember talking about this guy. I didn't think I was too impressed, but at the same time, he's from Mirage. He did start off with 48 cents. He moved up slightly to $1.72 with an average price of $2.50. And now it looks like he's taking another leg up. Now I'm very interested to see why that is. There's two chances. One of them is a third or fourth stimulus. I think a fourth stimulus was announced, and a stimulus check seems to be a very good motivation for people to go and buy these out because they just expect that the more stimulus checks are spent in ways to save money. So crypto, gold, and collectibles. So, people don't always have to buy, and stocks. People don't always have to buy houses. Houses are going to be hard to get. But that could even be some bumps up for that. Stimulus goes all over the place. Rite of Passage from Fifth Dawn. Really cool card. If you have it in your dinosaur deck, it's really cool for like dealing damage and getting some value out of your dinos. I feel like it's kind of just getting out of control now. It used to start off at a nice pace, and now you can see that the movements are very rapid. I feel like there's almost a buyout going. It doesn't actually have any other printing, so not easy to get this card outside of this one version from Fifth Dawn. Bogarden Phoenix from Visions. So I think we probably talked about this card a few times. It did hit a market value of around about $4, and then it looks like it's dropping off. But there has been a spike back up in the last day where it went from about $3.28 to $3.96, which is actually huge. It's like a 25% jump in one day. Riven Turnbull from Legends. So Legends card probably not on the reserve list, but never been printed. That's kind of a risky bet. From Legends, but not being on the reserve list means that he's very hard to use. His powers are actually for a 7 mana 5/7. Surprisingly, for legends, it's okay. That's actually pretty decent. But 7 mana is actually kind of expensive in those colors. And he does tap for 1 black mana. That seems wasted for him. Anyways, strange card. Looks cool for artwork. We'll see what comes out of him. He is starting to move up because it looks like maybe people aren't expecting him to come back into printing. Croesus the Purger from Invasion. 6 mana for a 6/6 dragon legend. It is a dragon, that's important to remember. Whenever Croesus the Purger deals combat damage to player, you may pay 3. If you do, choose a color, then player reveals his or her hand and discards all cards of that color. That's actually really insane. That's pretty much a what's his face? The Nicol Bolas kind of card where, like, you know, it makes him discard cards and deal. That's actually quite painful. You can get another version of him from Premium Deck Series, Greyborn. He was also in Commander 2017 for $3.22. Kind of a cool card, kind of painful. Yeah, it looks like it's actually got quite a bit of spike up in the last day. Moving over to MTG Goldfish, the biggest movers of the day. Terror of Peak moving by 8%. You've got a Righteous Valkyrie, again on the list, moving up by 10%. I think that card moves by 10%, plus or minus each day. Now set is $5.49. A 19% gain for Den of the Bugbear, which is from Forgotten Realms, I think. Is that from Forgotten Realms or is that from Innistrad? I didn't think that Innistrad had that many spoilers. That is... Oh, it's from Innistrad, is it? Yeah, no. Innistrad has the wolf face. That's got a wolf face of some kind, but I don't think that's right. No, that's from Forgotten Realms. Sorry, I got really confused by that. I guess that's a dragon and not a wolf, but I've been looking at the Innistrad ones and got confused. Alright, moving on to Pioneer. Sorry, let's just go back. Is the biggest drops? Nothing there. Moving on to Pioneer, the biggest gains. Kogan Command moving up by 18% and 8%, and I said it's $17. Savage Gorger, the same thing from the premium deck. So weird. Do not buy into that. You got Sigarda's Aid moving up by 7% again to now sit at $14.27. Nothing that dropped more than 5% on the Pioneer side. Modern, you got Breeding Pool moving up by 6% and now sit at $40. That's crazy. I need to gather up all my breeding pools. I don't think I treat them well enough. You got an 8% gain for Coat of Arms. You got a 7% gain for Twilight Mire. You got a 4% gain for Elish Norn Grand Cenobite, even after the Secret Lairs for her has come out. Strange. Steam Vents has gone down by 12% and now sit at $39.19. Nature's Will dropped down by 7% and now sit at $35.38. Surgical Extraction 7% down, $30.74. Nothing else that really breaks the 7%. Moving to Legacy. I wanted to add Legacy and Vintage because I wanted to talk about some of the older cards anyways and see what people say about them in the comments. Stasis moving up by 127% and now sit at $224 from Unlimited. Rasputin dropping down by 10%. Cyclopean Tomb dropping down by 20%. There has actually been a huge amount of gains in the Legacy side. The biggest drops and the biggest gains on the weekly look about even, but on the daily it looks like something has changed where people are actually starting to move the market again. As for the crazy vintage market, it looks like there has been not much movement at all. I don't know how easy it is to track this movement. Most of them probably happen away from the online market, so very hard to track individually anyways. Most of those guys have way too much money, so they don't want to, show people what they have. Looking at the Innistrad Midnight Hunt spoiler, Night and Day is a new mechanic that comes from Daybound, which I think Arlen the Pax Hope has got in it. You got Arlen, we'll talk about it soon. Cirith, the Viper Fang, tough name. Cool. I feel like they've done a better job with the day-night idea now, where it's a bit more permanent and a bit harder to switch the creatures, switch the werewolves. I don't know if that's going to stick or not. I don't like taking cards out of sleeves to play them in Commander. So I don't think werewolves are going to be my thing again. So we'll have to see what we can do about it. So what Arlen of the Pax Hope does, she's actually really cool. She's got Daybound. So Daybound is if a player casts no spells during their own turn, it becomes night the next turn. So If someone says I pass without casting anything their turn, then on anyone's next turn, it becomes a knight. She's got a +1 until end your next turn. You may cast creature spells as though they had flash, and each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. So, on the first turn, this is not going to help you, I don't think. I mean, it can, but it's not going to help you get the Daybound trigger. On the second turn, if you have creatures in hand, you can +1 her, and then wait one turn. Then she flips, then all your werewolves flip, and then you can cast another one spell. I would be careful about casting 2, but I'll let you guys know why that is the case. -3, create 2 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. That's actually really nice. So yeah, that's actually kind of cool. Nightbound. If a player casts at least 2 spells during their own turn, it becomes day next turn. Okay, this is actually not that bad. It says during their own turn, so if you play 3-4 creatures on an opponent's turn, that should be fine. It'll still stay as nighttime. And I think that when you play them, they actually come in as their night creatures. Because it's nighttime, you don't have to flip them individually again. It's like a universal effect on the battlefield, which is actually really cool. And this one says +2, add red and green mana. 0 until end of turn. Arlen becomes a 5/5 werewolf creature. I mean, she already is a werewolf creature token, but she becomes another 5/5 werewolf creature token, creature with trample, indestructible, and haste. Kind of cool. Kind of hard to trigger. She is very easy to protect, and I guess the good thing is that she can swing. Actually, what I'm confused by is what happens when she flips and then her tokens, her counters. I guess her counters stay with her. I'm not too sure. Or they have individual counters. Anyway, Night says, as it becomes night, transform all Daybound permanents. Permanents enter the battlefield Nightbound. If a player casts at least 2 spells during their own turn, it becomes day next turn. So kind of cool. It makes it much harder to get the opponents to flip the cards themselves. They can if they want, but their deck has to make it very easy for them to do it. Anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I think that's mostly it for today. If you like it, please like and comment, and I'll see you guys next time.